Hey everybody, welcome back to the studio in Nashville, Tennessee. Since the last video I released on how to do a wet dry wet rig in the Helix, I've had multiple people reach out and ask questions like, isn't this the only thing that you will ever need for the rest of your life? Why do you have all these other pedals around the Helix? Aren't you fulfilled enough with the Helix? Isn't the Helix all that you would ever need? What are you doing with the Helix on a pedal board? It is a pedal board. Why do you need more? But it's also really fun to have gear and to have more tones. So today I'm going to explain why I am using the Helix with external pedals on a pedal board with a power supply underneath. This is going to be just real quick, some basic tones, mostly overdriven tones. But yeah, if you want ambient and delays and verbs, go watch the wet dry wet video because there's a fair amount of reverb in it. As far as guitars go today, I'm playing my vintage V100 Les Paul style guitar, and this thing is just all the rock and roll. So there you go. Let's go for it. Okay guys, this is the board. I have everything mounted to a Pedal Train PT3, which they don't make that size anymore. You can find them used on, I think, Reverb and a couple other sites, but this is just a great size for me. I normally use the JHS Pulp and Peel compressor just because it frees up a compressor block in the Helix. So that's why I have it on the board. I like what it does, like how it sounds, but I also love the internal effects. But I also like to have a lot of effects in the Helix, and that helps me free up a block. After that, I go into the Helix, do all the processing. I'm using the pedal of the day right here to control effects loop 4. That's all it is. So that turns on the visual sound, True Tone, FX XO pedal. It's just great overdrive, and I like that it has dual channels, so, you know. You know, just more. If less is more, just think how much more would be. After that, in the studio, I'm using the line outputs, or quarter-inch outputs, but I'm using them at line level. Live, I typically use the XLR. I have them both for this example. Then on the right, I have 2 expression pedals. Now, the bottom one does delay. And when I'm on guitar, it's 99% of the time it is affecting the delay feedback and the delay mix. So like this. That's like the standard, you know, basic sound when I turn on delay. But if you watch the mix and the feedback, push it down, I just get more. So now the next expression pedal is this guy up here. Now, for a lot of the gigs that I'm doing currently, it's like, you know, worship style gigs, church gigs, and reverb is just there to cover a multitude of sins. Go watch the wet dry wet video because there's a fair amount of reverb in it. If you watch the wet dry wet rig video, then you know that only the wet side is getting this verb, and you still get a dry guitar sound. But if I want, I can turn that knob up and X marks the spot. X marks 10, max, you know, all that. So when I run both of those together, you have just all the effects. That's the rig. That's how I'm using it. Lastly, I have an outboard tuner. I just like to always be able to push the volume pedal down, tune just like I've always done, you know, using volume pedals with the tuner out. And I'm just familiar with that tuner too. The tuners in the Helix are great. They just updated it and they get like strobe, and they have another one that's more like a Peterson. But I've known that tuner for so long. I can really quick on it, and yeah. Oh, power supply. Lastly, it's the pedal train. I think it's like the 1200. I think it's maybe seven pedals and a courtesy outlet. The reason I went with that power supply is because I couldn't find, and please put in the comments below if you know of a company that has, I think it's like 7 outputs for like 9-volt, you know, style pedals, a courtesy outlet, and it can do 210 or 120, or yeah, 110 or 220 for UK and international travel. Also, that power supply comes with 4 international IEC cables for anywhere in the world. Tell me another company that does that, and I would love to know, because they don't make those anymore. So anyway, hopefully this was informative. Hopefully you enjoyed some of it, and it explains how I'm using this even further. Just because you got a Helix doesn't mean you got to give up your favorite pedals. Okay guys, hopefully this answered some of your questions on maybe why I use external effects with the Helix. I do, however, highly recommend getting some expression pedals. If you have a Helix, if you have an HX Effects or an HX Stomp, using expression pedals with it unlocks a whole new level of creativity, flexibility, and tone options that you've just never had before. As you see, I got a few pedals behind me. If you want to see a video of me tone matching or integrating these into the Helix, please leave a comment below. Let me know which one you want to hear through the Helix. If you want to hear a tone comparison, maybe of this guy, please let me know. Subscribe for more. If you like these videos, and if you like seeing all new Helix presets that I'm coming out with, please subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be the first to know. If you are interested in any of the other presets that I have for sale, I'll put more links down beneath in the description. Yeah, guys, I really appreciate you watching. Thanks so much for your time. All right, later.